All right, guys, what is going on? How y'all doing today? This is the Club of Demand 1993, and we are here live for a first timer on this channel. Why is this a first timer? Well, we've had Crown Jewel happen in 2018, 2019. I'm pretty sure we didn't do it in 2020 and 2021. We had Crown Jewel as well. And you know how I've always been about these overseas blood money shows. I don't support them because I just don't. Again, these were just always just a huge waste of time, just a money grabber. Shows were never good. Of course, there was Super Showdown. I gave that a chance. I gave that a chance when it first happened in 2018, and I realized I'm wasting my time here. And of course, Crown Jewel 2018, or Crown Jewel, was a shit fest for sure, from what I've heard. So throughout the years, I've only watched maybe like one or two matches from these shows. But now, of course, okay, there was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that took place in Saudi Arabia earlier this year, and even that sucked. I only watched that because it was the Elimination Chamber. But now, of course, it's a new era. So, for the first time on this channel, I'm not going to be just watching one or two matches. I'm giving this entire show a chance. I'm going to watch WWE Crown Jewel 2022, which will be taking place as of now, because I haven't read into the emergency plans, but there is some stuff going on over in Saudi Arabia that could cause this event to get canceled or, postponed. But apparently I didn't get to read into it. I've heard a rumor of a possible emergency plan, but of course I didn't get to read into that yet. But for now, we're just going to talk about these matches, because at some point they will happen. At some point they will happen, unless some of these are further storylines. We don't get the match till like Survivor Series or whatnot, which we'll have to wait and see. But I am going to still talk about the show, do the predictions, and we're going to roll from there. We're going to treat this as a show is still going on. Now, also, keep this in mind too. I mentioned this before in my Raw review. I am not going to be able to watch this show on Saturday. I'm not watching this show until Sunday night. There will be, of course, a review at some point afterwards, but I will not be able to catch this till Sunday night. So please do not send me any spoilers. With that being said, though, I still think this is Triple H's third pay-per-view since he took over. Well, fourth, but he didn't have the material for SummerSlam. SummerSlam, he just kind of like, was like, it was still a great show, but the build for that show was not his. But of course, the past three pay-per-views have been all him. With that being said, I feel like the build for this pay-per-view has been decent. But I would say it's probably the weakest so far for the build. The card is decent, but I'm not as jumping up and down about this as I was for Clash the Castle or Extreme Rules. Now, this still could be a good show, but I'm just not quite as excited for it. But I still think it could still be a decent show. We have, some solid matches lined up here. Some stuff that I'm head scratching about, though, especially after that main event of Raw this past week. A lot of stuff's going to be, solid. A few predictions I have for maybe possible returns or whatnot could be happening as well. So we'll have to roll in and see what exactly I think is going to happen at WWE's Crown Jewel 2022. Including also, I will briefly address Bray Wyatt, as Bray Wyatt is supposed to be appearing on this episode. And of course, also, guys, this is a rare occasion of me doing a review on a Wednesday afternoon, and this is because I had the day off from work today. Go back to work tomorrow and Friday, but I had a day off from work today. Let me see here. JR is over here to the live chat. What's up? Do you think Sasha and Naomi return back to WWE at Crown Jewel? I don't know. I'm going to say no. Because I don't quite get... like, at this point, with how damaged the whole storyline between Damage Control and Bianca Belair and her crew has gotten. I don't think it's going to happen at Crown Jewel. It could happen at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen at Crown Jewel. Just my opinion. And I would love to see Karrion Kross versus Roman Reigns. I agree. I actually was like asking for that match when Kross came back. That would be a great match. We'll see though. But let's roll in though and let's talk about Crown Jewel. We have 8 matches, 9 counting the Bray Wyatt segment, which that'll be last. He also asks, do you think now Apollo Crews would benefit if he came back up to the main roster? I don't know because I haven't watched NXT. I'm hoping he's getting better in NXT. I'm hoping him going back to NXT was a kind of a way to revive him. I don't know if they'll bring him back immediately back up to the main roster, but when he does, I do hope good things for him. But again, I just haven't watched it. I don't watch NXT, so I haven't seen his stuff there. But I am going to roll in, though, and get started with the show. Again, 9 matches / segments that I, of course, put in order of how I think they will happen in my predictions. And we'll go from there. So I think, as always, I say, to start off hot, start off with a tag title match. We have a match between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes, which, of course, is Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. For the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. This should be solid. They had a match on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. I keep saying I do like, how much momentum the Brawling Brutes have gained. Especially, again, with the feud with Imperium. That Donnybrook match was just insane they had at Extreme Rules. And a lot of people are saying it's going to set up for... Well, because right now, Sheamus got written off TV. Sheamus did just get married, actually, so that might be an excuse to keep him off TV. But the long-term idea is a lot of people are saying that they're going to try to somehow stretch it and have the third match between Sheamus and Gunther at WrestleMania, which could be where Sheamus wins the Intercontinental title. Which would be nice. I don't see the Brawling Brutes winning here. I think the Usos will retain. They're almost to the day to break the New Day's record. My thing, though, is why is it... I mean, they've teased the New Day having a match with the Usos. Again, like, how many times have they done that match? Which, they always have good matches, but we've seen it how many times. My thing, though, is why aren't they involved in this match? Like, I thought maybe... Because we've already seen the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes. Just one time. Another time's not going to kill it. But my thing is why not get the New Day in there and make it a triple threat? Especially if they're trying to tease a story where the New Day's trying to stop the Usos from breaking their record. Because are you going to have them I don't want to. What I don't want to see happen is I'm not sure if it would be that way or not. I don't want to see what they did with when Nikki Bella broke AJ Lee's record, having her not defend it till the day that they tie, which is stupid. So, I mean, first off, love the Usos much more than I love that Nikki Bella title run. Even though the Usos have, lost a lot along the way, though. But, I still wonder why the New Day isn't involved in this match. Because they are going to have to, them drop the belts at some point. Which I think may not be till next year's WrestleMania. To Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Which apparently also, they're keeping Kevin Owens off TV because his plans are on hold because they want to extend the Usos, the whole bloodline storyline with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn because of how great that's been. They're trying to get that till WrestleMania. I think the best thing to do, of course, also is put Kevin Owens' plans on hold. So that's why he hasn't been on TV for a while. Because eventually you're going to have Owens and Zayn back together. And then win the titles at WrestleMania would be spectacular. What a great moment it would be for those two friends who have, gone through like everything together. I think it would be very fitting. But the Usos are retaining here, and no doubt about it, in my opinion. So there's that match. Then we have this match that I just found out about as we were making these. I was making these graphics. We have the newly crowned WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss and Asuka, versus the team they just won the titles from this past Monday. Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Even seeing this, I was like, okay, what was the point then of having the match on Monday? First off, we have done this match how many times since Damage Control came in? We've done it how many times? And then two, it doesn't help the fact that we've had Damage Control's booking not be so good. I ranted about it in my Raw review on Monday. Well, yesterday when I did my Raw review. I ranted about it because, again, it's just, to me, it's not made Damage Control look strong. Like, again, they brought them in. They brought them in as this, and they treat them like they're like they were gonna be like the heel team, the heel duo. They felt like a women's version of the Undisputed Era. So much so, again, as I keep saying, that before it was announced for Survivor Series, I was screaming, War Games, War Games, War Games. Now, though, they don't feel like threats. They feel weak. So, yes, I mean, the right thing to do here is to give Damage Control the belts back, but then what was the point of them dropping them? What was the point of them suffering that loss? That loss hurt them. It's bad enough that we have Bayley, who basically is in hot water. She's got to win on this show also. Because here's the thing, though, also. If Damage Control wasn't getting a rematch for the tag titles, I probably would not have even had any faith they may put the belt on Bayley. But, of course, if they don't put... It'd be stupid. If they don't put the belts back on Damage Control here, then, again... Because here's the thing also. Have they really done many teases for the War Games matches yet? You would think, like, by now there would be some teases, but with how much we've had Damage Control losing, why would we want to even see them be the heel duo in the War Games match? So, I mean, again, it was dumb enough to take the belts off of Dakota and Io, and it was dumb enough not to have Bayley win at Extreme Rules. The match is still great, don't get me wrong, but she should have won there. That was... You had to keep her looking strong. But, yeah, this is like a make it or break it show for Damage Control for me. Because even if they do win the belts, though, will they still seem like a serious threat? Because this doesn't need to be like a temporary group. Like, I'll say more before I get this. I'm going on and on. But my prediction, Damage Control's got to win the belts back. They've got to win the belts back. Even though it may be too late for them already, they got to win the belts back. So that's what I'm saying. Damage Control win the belts back at Crown Jewel. What we got next here? We've got... Okay, the steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. Their match at Extreme Rules was decent. It shows, I mean, it just... I don't think that they quite have, as big of chemistry as you would think from these two guys, but it's a bigger name to give Karrion Kross the win. Karrion Kross, though, is a guy they built him in NXT like the next Goldberg, and he is basically another Goldberg in terms of the fact that all of his shorter matches are great. His longer matches are not so great, which is a little bit of a problem. But I also feel like this feud's kind of it's kind of been more also in the background or on the back burner. It doesn't feel as hot as it did when Kross first came back. I mean, it did the right thing at Extreme Rules. It gave Cross the win, even though Scarlett interfered, and some people frowned on that because Cross never needed Scarlett to do that. But I think it should be no different. I mean, I'm not sure why we even do another match. I mean, the results are going to be the same. I think Cross should win. Just simple as that. Cross needs to keep winning, keep building him strong. I mean, he will. I'm pretty sure at some point in 2023, he will be either challenging for the world title or be world champion. Because at some point in 2023, Roman's dropping the belts, or at least one of them. So yeah, I think Cross is going to win this steel cage match. Okay, why is it a steel cage? Well, probably to keep Scarlett out, but something else could happen with that. You never know, but who knows? But this should be decent. So there's that match. Then we got this match, this 6-man tag match with the OC, which is AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, versus the Judgment Days, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio. The match should be fun. Again, my big thing still though about the OC is the fact that, again, there really isn't much character development from Gallows and Anderson. Because that's the only problem I have with bringing them back. Like, I'm glad they're back. I'm glad they're getting another shot. Because, again, you think back to 2016 Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles. They were amazing in that feud with John Cena. They were amazing. Then, of course, when they got split from AJ, feud with the New Day, they just floundered, of course. So we're not going to go there again. So, like I said, what they need to do is they need to just establish character again for us to care about the OC. I don't think, though, that's going to be the main story of this match. Like, something, like, at first I thought, okay, this would be a decent 6-man tag match. I feel like this is going to be something a little bit more. Because 2 weeks ago on Raw, we had, of course, Rhea Ripley body slam Luke Gallows, which was pretty cool. And then backstage, AJ basically said the biggest problem is Rhea. And it's true. Rhea Ripley has been the biggest thorn in everyone's sides. Because to me, she's the most dominating thing about the Judgment Day. She's the main reason why Judgment Day have won most of their matches. Which, again, I love. I love that they built her that. Because, again, if there's anybody that should be, taking out men in the women's division, it's definitely Rhea Ripley. And I've loved every piece of her booking they've had since she first joined the Judgment Day. Even when Edge was still the leader of Judgment Day, she was still being booked like a pro. Why she isn't even being in running for the women's title, I don't know. I have no clue why she hasn't fought for the women's title yet. Which also is conflicting as to why, they may have, this thing where they might want to put the title on Bayley, but but there's Rhea Ripley also, but also there's a long-term plans for Bianca and Charlotte. Ugh. Good match, but you gotta strike while the iron is hot. And you have 2 women right now in Rhea Ripley and Bayley, of course, who are part of hot stables. You gotta capitalize on them. So that's the main story going into this match, is somebody needs to neutralize Rhea Ripley. Who would the OC bring in? So I thought about a couple people. The first one, obviously, I thought about is Beth Phoenix. But, I don't know, because of, of how they took her out at Extreme Rules. But, I do that, like, okay, but it's like, I kind of want someone new. So, I've heard the rumors of Chelsea Green coming back. But I don't think Chelsea's going to be a babyface. So, I don't think it could be Chelsea. There's 2 people I think it could be. And one of them, of course, it looks like JR mentioned in the live chat. And I know he mentioned it in my Raw review the other day. Because I thought about it, too. And I'm like, they do have history. Dating back to her second knee injury back in the Mae Young Classic. And I've heard rumors that Triple H wants to bring her back. What if it was Tegan Nox? Again, they have a history. So it would be, well, but then the other thing too is that, okay, Yes, but it's like, have they really revisited that history since? Like, you want to bring in someone that Rhea's gonna be like, show some fear in. And as much as I love Tegan Nox and was a huge fan of hers, I'm not sure though if that fear factor would be there to intimidate Rhea Ripley. Like Beth Phoenix, I think would, but again, I want someone new. So then there's another person I thought of, because I know they have a history from NXT UK, because they had a few matches there, and someone I feel like that could, like, you know, bring like a fear factor to Rhea Ripley. Piper Niven. She's been off TV. She was in a tag team with Nikki ASH, but now Nikki Ash is now back to Nikki Cross. So why not put Doudrop back to Piper Niven, have her come in, and be the one to neutralize Rhea Ripley? To me, I feel like, again, my second choice would definitely be Tegan Nox. But the thing is, I just don't know if they're going to tell that story about, like, you know, the fear factor. Even though, again, they do have history. But I feel like if you want that fear factor for Rhea, I would say go with not Doudrop, Piper Niven. Yeah, call her Piper Niven again. Get rid of that stupid name. That stupid name that didn't even need to happen. So, yes, I think that's what they should do. They should have Piper Niven be the one to take out Rhea, and that helps the OC to overcome the Judgment Day. So, that's my pick on that match. I do see you guys stuff in a live chat, but I want to keep things rolling here. We'll keep rolling here. But anyways, I'm going to do all the matches before I do check the live chat again, because I just want to keep things moving here, because I'm not too limited on time, but I do have some other things to do today. So that's that match. Match number 5, probably the match I'm most excited about. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry, Bobby Lashley, as I would say. Well, as Brock would say. I cannot wait for this match. Again, they did the match back at Royal Rumble, and it was solid, but what hurt it was the fact that it was being used as, like, a storytelling arc match for Roman and Brock. That I still think was stupid, because, like, why would Roman, why would he even instigate Brock like he did? You think Roman didn't think Brock Lesnar would you know, drop the title, you know, go back into the Royal Rumble, and then, you know, like, set the stakes as high as he did? Like, I thought that was, like, very stupid the way they did that. But of course, Papa H is in charge now, and we're getting a match that we should have gotten back in 2018. This should have been the main event of SummerSlam 2018, when Bobby Lashley first came back. Of course, they booked Bobby like crap. I'm going to get myself a crown here. See if I, over there, get myself a... Yeah, it looks very fitting. This is the match that Bobby Lashley came back for. And of course, here's the thing. The build's been good, but it feels like there's more to this. It feels like they haven't hit the highest note they could for this feud. Which is why I think this feud's going to continue. I feel like it should continue. So, for the sake of protecting both guys, my prediction is this match ends in a draw. Whether if it's like a double count out from a brawl, or I don't think it would be a DQ. Don't do a DQ. A DQ would be stupid. I'd say like double count outs, or like, you know, they brawl, the brawl, like, you know, goes outside and goes nuts and whatnot. The match should end in a draw. Like, have them like beat the shit out of each other or something, and it ends in a draw. And basically show that a one-on-one, they need something more. Like, if you want to extend it to Survivor Series, have it be no holds barred. I'll take no holds barred. Or, I mean, it might be tough because we will have the cage for War Games. I would say no holds barred or Hell in a Cell. I would love to see these two have a Hell in a Cell match, but it may interfere with, the setting up of the cage for War Games. Unless if somehow it leads to them being, they try to get this to WrestleMania too, but I don't know. There's only so many feuds that you can get at this point from here to WrestleMania if you're already having a match. You never know though. But yeah, I think this match should end in a draw. And then the next match, which will most likely be Survivor Series, be, like I said, most likely no holds barred. Or, heck, if you want to do Falls Count Anywhere, do Falls Count Anywhere, actually. That'd be crazy, but they gotta get a stipulation on this, because this is getting, it's the two big cyborgs just going at it. I'm very excited for this match, though. I cannot wait to see what they do with this. And, of course, they're not going to be held back so much since Vince ain't around. But that's that match, which is the match I'm most excited about. And now we have the match I'm probably the least excited about for this show. Braun Strowman versus Omos. Again, Braun Strowman's fine. Omos, though, ain't it. Omos ain't it. He does not appeal to me at all. Braun Strowman, even though, of course, again, since they brought him back, they haven't set the bar for him too high since he came back. I feel like I don't feel like, okay, Braun's gotta win it all or nothing. But a nice way to make him look very dominating, of course, would be if he beat Omos. And yes, Omos is taller than him. He's like 7'3". Braun Strowman 6'8". I get it. The true star in this match is Braun Strowman. Omos sucks. I'm sorry. I just see another great colleague with Omos. He's boring. He's bland. He ain't it. Get this over with. Braun Strowman beats Omos. We can move on with our lives. Then we have this match. I've already talked about it before with the random women's tag title match. Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. If they did not do this tag title match, I would have said, or here's the thing. Since they had Damage Control drop the belts on Monday, if they would not have announced a rematch for Crown Jewel, I would have said, forget about it, just have Bianca retain and we'll move on. This, of course, is, though, a last woman standing match. Now, my thing is, if Bayley was just brought back just to be another opponent for Bianca, then they should not have done a stable whatsoever. If the whole idea was not to get, Damage Control be the dominating women's heel stable, then they should not have brought back, they shouldn't have formed Damage Control. They could have, if they wanted to just bring back Bayley, finish off the feud, because right before Bayley got hurt, her and Bianca were supposed to have one more match at Money in the Bank, and I Quit match. If they just wanted to do that, then fine. But again, they brought in a stable. They brought in two fresh main roster faces. Io Sky, who's amazing, and Dakota Kai, who got her job back, and who's one of the most underappreciated wrestlers in NXT from when Vince took over, for sure. Because she's a hard worker. She's a master at selling. She's a storytelling genius, Dakota Kai. So you brought them in and you set the bar higher. But again, you've booked Damage Control. I mean, I get it. You still want to make Bianca look strong. I get it. But it was a moment where you had to strike while the iron was hot for Damage Control. Bayley should have won the match at Extreme Rules. And it was fine. It was a ladder match. They could have protected Bianca. It was the perfect way for Bayley to win. But you had her lose, and then you had her beat Bianca in a non-title match on Raw. that, honest to God, didn't even help anyone in the long run. It just made Bayley look even weaker to me. Like, it gave me more reasons to have no faith in Bayley to be able to beat Bianca Belair clean. It didn't. I'm sorry. It really didn't. But I got a little glimmer of hope now that Damage Control is getting a rematch for the tag titles. To me, it would be, well, first off, it was stupid to take the titles off them in the first place. Like, okay, there's some people that do not need to be built around wins and losses. They don't need an undefeated streak. But you've had Damage Control lose way too many times lately. Again, like I said before, they don't feel like a big threat right now. They don't feel like a team to beat in War Games. They're not even screaming War Games for me right now. It just feels like a bunch of back and forth, 50-50 maybe booking between, these six that even so, like JR says, like, I would have loved, if they were still around, to have seen Sasha and Naomi be the tag team instead of Alexa and Asuka. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like both Alexa and Asuka, but they still just seem very out of place in this. Like, I still think Alexa Bliss has to go back to being the heel goddess she was. I'm sorry, like, as a babyface, she has no character. She's likable, yes, people like her, but I need a character. Asuka, I feel like, should just be on her own. Asuka's someone who does not need to be in a tag team. She's showing some signs of it again. She looked great in the match this past week, but they could have picked a better duo, I think, in my opinion, for Bianca Belair. But, anyways, now that Damage Control is getting a rematch for the tag titles, even though it may not make that much of a difference in how I feel at this point, Bayley has to win here. If Bayley or Damage Control, if Damage Control loses at all on this show, then just drop the act. Drop the act, because then I literally will not care. I seriously won't. I will not care. Because to me, they will look pointless. It will look like a waste of time. And again, it would just leave me asking, why do we even form this stable in the first place? Like I said, if the idea was just to give Bianca Belair another opponent and finish off the feud with Bayley from before Bayley got hurt, fine. But if that was the case, you should not have brought in Damage Control. You should not have, if that is the case. So yes, bite my tongue and hoping to God that Bayley and Damage Control get the belts. Because again, if they don't do it here, then who cares about Damage Control? Okay? Alright, then the main event match of the show. It's been hyped up for 2 months now or whatnot. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Why the hell is Logan Paul getting a world title match against one of the best champions we've had in this generation of all time in just his third match? Like, okay, if this was Kenny Omega, I get it. If this was, because he hasn't had any matches in WWE yet. If this was Jon Moxley, well, okay, Moxley's had, that's a bad example. Even if it was CM Punk's third match back, if CM Punk would come back to WWE, which I'm not getting into it, I'm not talking about it, but I'm using it as an example. This is one of the other names I thought of. Even like Hangman Adam Page, if some big star from AEW would come over to WWE and got a world title match in their third match back, even their first match back, I get it. Logan Paul? Okay, yes. He has exceeded expectations as a wrestler. He looked great in the tag match at WrestleMania 38. He stole the show with The Miz at SummerSlam. I think the match can be awesome. Just why? Why are they relying still on an internet darling to headline like a big event like this? I don't get it. I don't get it. And here's the thing also. I'm sure maybe he has more of an audience than I think, but who gives a shit about Logan Paul? Who was blasting like crazy that Logan Paul, oh my goodness, Logan Paul's coming to WWE. Is he that big of a deal that he should be fighting the best champion we've had at Crown Jewel? It makes no freaking sense. And there's a story where how Logan Paul has a wicked right hand. One punch can knock him out. He ain't no Big Show. He ain't no Big Show and has a believable knockout punch. He doesn't. Roman Reigns can knock his ass out easily. I'm sorry. Like this whole idea of like the one lucky punch, it's not believable to me. It's not realistic. You could not have told me. You could not have told me after that Logan Paul, after 3 matches, would be getting a world title shot. You could not give me one instinct to believe that Logan Paul has a chance at winning this. I'm hoping Roman just knocks his ass out and we move on. I mean, well, I still think if you gave it time, the match still could be good. But Logan Paul has no reason at all for winning the world title. I'm pretty sure they're gonna tease that whole one lucky punch thing, make it look like Logan could have beat Roman, which would still be absolutely stupid. We gotta stop again. We gotta look at the roster. The roster itself, the people who have worked their asses off should be in this position. Not Logan Paul. Right now is not the time to be giving Logan Paul a world title match. So, if it was my choice, I'd rather have Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley main event this show. That's what I'd rather do. Which is also why I chose Bray Wyatt to go last. Because, how is this going to feel like a main event? Does anyone actually believe Logan Paul is going to win this match? Roman Reigns is winning, no ifs, ands, or buts. And then finally, the last thing, of course, to talk about real quick here. Bray Wyatt will be at Crown Jewel. Just have another segment, probably. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be him introducing another one of his personalities. Or some really big angle to, further him and, generate his star power even higher. If they're going to have a return to be one of his personalities, I'm going to really dig deep and say it should be Bo Dallas. I don't understand. I feel like Bo Dallas should... If Bray's coming back, I feel like Bo should come back. But Bo may not be Bo. Bo could be some other sort of personality of his or something like that. But that's all I think it's really going to be. It may not even be the ending segment. It may be the second to last thing. This could be what we have in between, as a cool down thing for Brock and Bobby, or even a way to kind of do a cool down Braun and Omos, and then Bray Wyatt comes after that to before the main event. But that's all I gotta say. That's my thoughts on Crown Jewel. Again, there is things to be concerned, especially with damage control. Again, I'm not a fan at all of this Roman Reigns and Logan Paul match. Even though, again, it could still be a good match, but one of those matches where it was fine to watch once, but I'm never gonna watch again. Again, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley was the selling point for me with the show. So, we'll see what happens. Before I go, I will check the live chat really quick. I think we're right here where JR said, I personally think that Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green is going to show up, as well as Tegan Knox. I mean, I don't... Again, Tegan maybe with that OC and Judgment Day match. again, like I said, I just don't know if Tegan's the right person to put that like fear factor into Rhea. But Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green, maybe not here, but if they do come back, it would be soon. But I don't think it will be a crown jewel. He can't wait till Mandy Rose loses the women's title. That way she can go back into the main roster with Toxic Attraction. Yeah, they're ready. I mean, again, I don't watch NXT, but I'm fine with that faction. Again, if the women's division needs more tag teams, bring them up. I definitely am totally fine with that happening. Tyler's here giving his usual views. They should have done Rey Mysterio versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title and take out the women's tag title match. They could have. I agree with that. That would have been a nice, addition instead of the women's tag title match. Do you think Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns instead with Logan Paul? Nah, I don't see that happening, in my opinion. But yeah, also, of course, Survivor Series is just 3 weeks away, and we don't have much build for the War Games matches yet. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping, because even Bayley winning the last woman standing match, I am 1 second. Even because they got if Bayley winning the last woman standing match is because they established a 4th member of Judgment Day. Again, with how many times the Judgment Day has lost, that's still not going to quite make them good. But I'm hoping, though, at least in some ways. Oh, another thing too is, do not put Logan Paul in the War Games match. He has no business being in the War Games match. But yeah, so we'll see what they do with the build for the War Games matches. I'm pretty sure the Bloodline 4 members then will be in the match. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping. Here's what I'm hoping they do, and they could start this off as the opening match for Survivor Series. We'll have Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso. Because if they're doing 4 members like they have been in recent years in NXT, those 3. What if Jay and Sammy cannot get along? That Roman has them go 1-on-1 to open Crown Jewel, and the winner becomes the 4th member of the Bloodline for the War Games match, which would be very interesting for sure. Again, if anything the War Games match should do is to get Sammy over more as a babyface. That's what I think should happen with that. But we'll see in the coming weeks, and we'll see, of course, what happens. And, of course, if Crown Jewel does still happen, with the rumors of the stuff with Saudi Arabia and Iran. Just play it safe as always. Again, I did hear rumors there is an emergency plan, I think, but I haven't heard exactly what it is yet. So, we will see what happens. And guys, that's going to do it. That's my WWE Crown Jewel 2022 preview and predictions. Again, I will not be watching this show until Sunday night. So do not send me any spoilers. Please. Because I won't be able to watch till Sunday night. I was supposed to watch it Saturday night, but my plans got delayed till Sunday. And of course, at some point next week, I will do a review of Crown Jewel as well. The first ever I do for that as well. The first ever Crown Jewel live review on this channel. Dear God, I cannot believe I'm actually giving this show a chance. Well, if Vince was still around, I wouldn't. But, man. So yeah. That's my thoughts, guys. That's my preview predictions for WWE's Crown Jewel 2022. What are your guys' thoughts on these predictions? What are your predictions for Crown Jewel? Who will be returning? Any face or heel turns think are going to be happening as well? Do you think also this is a make it or break it show for Damage Control? And what match are you guys the most excited about? Please make sure, guys, leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at TheManAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. And peace out, everybody.
Yeah, no, I will surprise. There's no escape.